Hello and welcome to Show of Hands Hangout number 51. We've got a big crew tonight, so I'll have everyone introduce yourself, say who you are on the app, what you'd like us to call you, and your favorite kind of cookie. Start with Ron.
I'm Ron, ronderman on the app. Call me ronderman, whatever. And favorite type of cookie is one fresh out of the oven.
Good answer.
Yeah, if I had to pinpoint, I would say white chocolate macadamia nut.
Ooh.
It's kind of hard to go against the classic chocolate chip, but either one of those would work.
Okay. Madge, you're up.
I go by Madge on the app, and you can call me Madge. And my favorite kind of cookie is a hybrid cookie brownie that I accidentally made, and it's like chocolate chip uber fudge. So that's awesome.
Sounds fantastic.
They're pretty good.
And Mr. Beard, you're up.
I am Are You One to Be Seen on the app. Are You or Joshua is fine. My favorite cookie, I stand by the no bake. I'm a big fan. Those are delicious. I will eat those at handfuls at a time. Sadly. Very delicious.
Absolutely. RBA.
I'm RBA on the app. You call me Blake. That's fine. Favorite cookie? I was talking about this cookies and cream cookie, which is pretty redundant, but it's amazing. But yeah, I would say that's it.
What is it? What is it?
You know, I don't know. I think it's like a chocolate chip cookie, but instead of the chocolate chips, they just crush Oreos up in it. Which, I think. I'm not totally sure, but it's pretty awesome.
Where do you find them?
There's a cookie delivery place here. Yeah. And
Exactly how far do they deliver?
It's stupid expensive, and it's like literally probably 15 blocks from my house, but it always takes like 2 hours to deliver. So it's not something to do often, but when you really want them, it's worth it.
Well, the good news is at 15 blocks, you could work off the calories just walking to go buy one. So.
That's true, you could. Depending on what time of night, you may not want to.
That's my whole New York philosophy is I walk everywhere, and so I can pretty much eat whatever I want now because getting all my steps in is no problem here. Yeah.
Josh, are you at the same place that you normally are in? Or you've been recently?
Yeah, a different room. But I just checked back in. I just got back from Michigan, so they put me on the 7th floor, where the Epsilons normally stay. And,
Well,
yeah.
Welcome home.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, nice room. Not bad. Not bad.
Kyle, you're up.
My screen shows that he's muted.
And he's frozen, or he's really concentrating hard.
He's muted and frozen. You want to do the voice of Kyle real quick? No?
Is she being antisocial this evening?
Julie?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A wee bit antisocial. Okay, got it.
I am Firefly5 on the app, Guyton in real life, and I think my favorite kind of cookie might be some kind of gingerbread.
Are you serious?
Yeah, there are those. I don't know. Those. That's quite a reaction.
I feel like I know a lot about you, and after being married to you for 7 years, I'm still surprised that I don't know, like...
I don't really eat cookies.
Okay.
I mean, once in a while, but not a regular thing.
Well, you are aware that you're the one that asked the question, right?
Yeah.
No, it's from the poll.
Kind of.
Oh, it's from the poll. Okay.
It's from Emma. Kyle.
Hi.
Hi. You should introduce yourself and tell us your favorite kind of cookie.
Okay. Hi, I'm Kyle, or MrLucchesse on the app. Favorite cookie? Classic chocolate chip, I guess, because it's basically crack.
It's true. It's true.
It is a classic.
Let's see.
That's your, yeah.
Alma asks, inspired by my return to snow driving this morning. Apparently it's snowing in
Utah?
my heaven on earth. Yeah, Utah, that's right. Snowing there. So what's the craziest thing you've done or perhaps seen while driving in the snow? Why don't you go first, RVA?
It doesn't really snow a whole lot here, but I'd have to say, now that, it's been several years since I've been out of school and work, now that I have to go in, the interstate is usually just piled with cars, even if there's like just an inch. I think I was 16 and I slid. Literally, I had like 5 people in my car, and I was trying to stop going 10 miles an hour, and I slid extremely slow motion into a dead end sign. I guess that was probably great. I mean, my car hit it at literally 1 mile an hour, just like a dead end. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Sometimes we like to make snow angels in the middle of the street, and cars don't really like that, but
No.
I say we, not me, but.
How about you, Are you've got crazy stuff in the snow.
Yeah, my dad ran a snow plowing business for many, many years, and so I would go out with him often. We'd see some really crazy stuff. But the funniest, I don't know if it's crazy, but it's definitely funny. We were doing all night pulling people out of the ditch, and so we just cruise up and down the roads and try to find people who had gone to the ditch, and we pull them out with these big old 4x4 trucks, And it's kind of a heroic thing to do, and so you kind of get good feelings about yourself. And we were going down, actually Wilton, you probably know where that is, Peyton, right near 100th Street, and there was this little Ford Escort or something that had gone off and was in the ditch, and a couple of very attractive young ladies had been in the car, and so my dad like, aha, we pulled over, and we get out in all of our burliness, and hey, I'm probably a sophomore in high school at the time, so I can get you out of the ditch. My dad's saying it won't be a problem, and so he's going to be all impressive about it. Well, he goes to go down into the ditch to get in front of the car and do what he needs to do because he can pull it through, but he has one of those big hitches on the back of the truck. So when he goes down, the front of the truck gets caught on one end of the ditch, and the hitch gets caught on the other end, and so all 4 wheels are just hanging. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And so now we're completely stranded. He had to call his best friend, who, if of all the people in the world you want to call when you're stuck, is not this guy, And so yeah, he probably still hasn't lived that down. But yeah, so yeah, it was a very embarrassing moment.
Well, that's what friends are for.
Yes, friends are for, indeed.
You got to have something to put on his headstone.
Yeah. Watch out for the fish, Dad.
Here lies the idiot that got stuck in the snow with his snowplow.
But yeah, it was funny.
Oh man. How about you, Kyle? You have snow? Yeah, you're in New York.
Yeah, normally. Craziest thing, I would just say drivers in general when you're on the road, because that's the craziest stuff to watch, because despite the fact that it snows every single year in the Northeast, for whatever reason, it seems like no one actually learns how to drive in the snow. And I would say the funniest and scariest experience personally was, I guess, fishtailing for about half a mile, seemingly, and just going back and forth on the highway. Unfortunately, I was the only one there, so I guess there was a reason I was the only one there. But.
Sounds like a good thing, though.
Yeah, good times.
Madge, anything for you?
Yeah, we don't get much snow, but every maybe decade, we get a ton of snow, and everything shuts down because we don't know how to deal with it. And on this particular occasion, we had a power outage, and I was going stir crazy because we lived in an apartment and there was no alternative source of heat. And so we spent like 3 hours out digging the car out of the parking lot, and we went through like 2 pairs of shoes because we didn't have any boots, and we were wearing garbage bags on our feet to try and get our minivan out of the parking lot and onto the road. And it was so worth it because we were so stir crazy and so cold that when we finally like got to a Barnes and Noble with coffee and warmth and Wi-Fi and we could talk to people, but oh man, we like had to go buy like new pants, new shoes, new everything because the snow had just destroyed them.
Oh man. Wow. We have snow so often and so much of it that it's completely crazy to me, the idea of being, stranded by it or in a weird spot. It's like you just start shoveling and sooner or later it's gone.
Well, the apartment they were so unprepared for it, they didn't even have the equipment to clear the parking lot. And so they were just like, oh, well, 2 feet of snow. We'll just wait till it goes away. And it didn't go away. Our power was out for like 2 weeks, and it was around Christmas time.
What?
Ew.
Oh, that sounds horrible. We've got this snow shovel that we were using this week. Not for snow, but just to get rid of some leaves. We had big piles of leaves in the yard, and the place we live, the city we live in, has a couple of leaf pickup days where if you just dump all of your leaves into the road, they come by and get them, which is really nice. But so we had a bunch of leaf piles in the yard, and we were trying to get them into the road, and a leaf blower wasn't really effective, and then, rakes take forever. And so we just grabbed our big snow shovel, which is pretty monstrous, and started shoveling them that way. Like, it worked really well. But,
that's pretty epic.
Oh, man. Rhonda, do you have snow ever?
Yeah, we get about 1 or 2 snows a year. We get more ice than anything else. But about 15 years ago, my wife and I she was interviewing for residency, and we had planned to go to Cincinnati, basically just spend one night and then fly back. And snow was not forecast in North Carolina at all. And we left Cincinnati to drive to the airport, and I picked up a USA Today, and I remember it said Raleigh, sunny. I don't remember the temperature, but I remember it was supposed to be sunny. And we got to the airport, and they said, I don't know if Raleigh's open. I go, what do you mean Raleigh's not open? She said, well, Charlotte's already closed because of the snow. I'm like, well, look at the newspaper here. There's not any snow coming. It says, this is before the weather apps on your phone and stuff. Anyway, Raleigh ended up getting 24 inches of snow overnight, and Raleigh's not equipped to handle 2 inches of snow, much less 24 inches of snow. And we were able to make it out of the airport, but we only had our overnight bag. And my wife had like an interview suit and then one other pair of clothes. And luckily my sister lived 2 miles from the airport, so we ended up stranded for a week in my sister's house with all of her kids, and we just kept having to wash the same pair of underwear over and over and over and over again. But it was a blast. It was a lot of fun. So it seems like a lifetime ago, but nothing exciting in the car. Just that's my one big snow day.
Yeah. We have snow stories every year. This last year we thought it'd be fun to take the kids and go stay in a hotel for a couple of nights. And it was a hotel with, a pool and a hot tub and stuff, so the kids were loving it. But was that the drive back that was so bad? The drive there, oh yeah. We got, it was, maybe a 2-hour drive?
Yeah.
It was maybe a 2-hour drive, and we were a little more than halfway there. and suddenly it didn't so much start snowing as the entire sky and everything around it turned white, and you just couldn't see anything. And I mean, it's Michigan, and we get snows like that a handful of times a year, but this was definitely an unexpected one, and it just came down so hard and so suddenly that we started to wonder if we were going to make it there. And then we did, and you know, we spent essentially a couple days in a hot tub watching it snow outside. But it was good. It was good. It's that sort of driving where there's a visibility of nothing, like literally 3 feet, you know?
But I have to say, if you live in Michigan, can you really say snow is unexpected?
No, what I should say is there was no snow in the forecast. And usually no snow in the forecast means you're not going to get like 1.5 feet dropping in an hour.
Right.
It means you're going to get, you know, 6 inches of snow, who cares, type of thing.
And a lot of people don't understand is that Michigan has two very different climates, and the legendary snow is northern Michigan, UP area, where Fire and Mama live, and where I'm from. You get some snow, but it's not really much different than New York City would get. Buffalo gets hit harder than Grand Rapids area gets, you know. So.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, north though, yeah, that's no joke.
Yeah, down here in North Carolina, they will cancel school for the threat of snow.
Wow.
A good day is when school is canceled before the first flake falls. If you're still in school and it's snowing already, people start to panic down here.
Yeah, they send the kids home early if it's snowing at school.
I remember one year I was in middle school. There was a 100% chance forecasted snow, and you could see it on the radar coming over the mountains. And then they canceled school, and nothing happened.
Yeah.
So we just like day off of school for no reason.
Yeah, that happens surprisingly frequently. Well, in New York, because I know we had like that historic prediction of like the blizzard of the century or whatever. I think it was last year.
Snowmageddon.
Yeah, and then you had, I mean, entire cities. New York City was closed.
Yeah.
And nothing happened.
Mm.
It just, I don't know how you make that big of a mistake, and most of those people probably still have jobs, but okay.
It's not the biggest sort of mistake that hasn't led to job termination.
That's true. That's a fair point.
But yeah, I mean, we have like Joshua was saying, we have a couple of belts in Michigan that get big amounts of snow, and then and it changes so much over even a short distance. We found out when we moved like 40 miles south from one place to another, and in those 40 miles, we went from 1 or 2 feet of snow to like 3.5. It was.
Oh wow! So do you get more snow than now where you've moved to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the stretch between where we were and where we are is like desolate, empty freeway. And for a while, for grad school, I was commuting from one to the other, and it was horrible. It was messed up. It was like you were scared to drive because it's all open and it's fields and stuff, and it just drifts. Even if it stopped snowing, it drifts so much that you can't see anything.
Drifting, that's the worst, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is your snow then dry? I realize that snow is precipitation, and I probably sound really dumb, but I have a recollection of like snow when we lived in Connecticut being really dry and powdery and not sticking together very well, and the snow here just adheres to everything. It just sticks and sticks and sticks.
Early in the season, we'll have pretty dry snow, and then once it kind of gets going, then it's nothing like that at all anymore, and it just all becomes one big piece of snow. But
No in bitterness.
yeah,
Madge, where
the
did
next
you
couple
live
of
in
years it
Connecticut?
dropped to like sub-zero temperatures for a week or two consecutive right in the middle of the winter, and it's just brutal.
What did you ask?
Where did you live in Connecticut?
Stratford.
Okay. I'm originally from Connecticut, so
Oh,
that's why.
sweet. Where about?
Bethel, Danbury area.
We have a question from now Mr. Sarcastic.
This is a tough question.
It says, name or describe a situation where you had to convince someone into accepting a point of view you didn't actually agree with. Kyle, why don't you go first?
It would probably be something work related. A lot of times when you have to do something even if you don't want to. I wouldn't bother naming a specific scenario because there are virtually an unlimited number. But outside of that, a debate that I was doing and I had to argue from a perspective I didn't agree with. So that was fun, but still not something I was very keen on doing, because when you're too convincing and then people believe you, then it's like you don't want people to believe that. So it's like counterproductive.
I know what you mean. Yeah, we had in high school debate we had to do that quite a bit, and that was always, I don't know, it was always challenging. It was almost less challenging though because you knew exactly what the other side would argue.
Yeah, and also a lot of times you tend to, I don't want to say exaggerate the points, but that's basically what you would do, just to argue so much in the other direction that a lot of times it's ingenuine, but if as long as you make it sound at least remotely convincing.
Confidence goes a long way.
Yeah, it's basically like cowboy versus ronderman. It's saying...
Not sure exactly how to take that, but I'll say thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you have those conversations and you wonder, you forget that it's open for everyone to see. I'm like, I'm just talking to Cowboy, and then you forget other people could actually read that.
Yeah, I don't think you can actually talk to him so much as talk at.
Yeah, hope for the best, I guess.
Well, I'm gonna keep beating my head up against that wall until he gives. So he's been pretty quiet recently. I've been able to jump on some other people recently. So
Yeah, I think we all have our own personal list of 3 or 4 users that we're that way with.
Yeah.
Blake, you have a time where you've had to convince someone of a point of view you don't like or don't agree with?
I really can't think of any specific. I think AP Government high school. I remember having a debate, political debate, and I honestly can't remember what my subject was, but no matter what it was, we had to convince everyone. That's a pretty standard thing. I was thinking, I don't see specifics in the job, but sometimes little minor things you have to convince people one way versus another. I didn't really be specific with that though. It's really hard to pinpoint that actually. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's hard with work. Like I feel like we've all had times at work where we've had to do this, and I couldn't tell you one of them. I just feel like I've had them.
Yeah.
Ron, how about you?
I tried to think of a time. I guess in my former life when I actually had one of those job things. Um, I, I probably did that once or twice, but I can't think of anything specific. The only thing I can think of is with my kids. Um, they go to a Christian school. Most of the people within the sphere of their influence are Christians, and so they're getting the school does a pretty good job of teaching, for instance, creationism on one side, but also giving the theory of evolution on the other, so that when they leave the Christian school, they've had both views. So they're not, just one-sided. So it's a very well-rounded school, but they're still pretty sheltered as far as that goes. So I do my best to when we're talking politics, and my daughter's getting into that. I do my best to be devil's advocate and argue the other side. But that's really the only thing I can think of is just trying to get her to think, but I'm not really trying to convince her of the other side. So I just don't want her to be a sheep. I want her to know why she believes what she believes. So it doesn't do any good to just echo everything she's being taught from other people. I want her to be challenged. So.
Mm-hmm. My kids are too young for me to be doing that any kind of regularly, but I'm sure it's coming.
It's coming.
Yeah, just wait. The manipulation starts soon enough.
I'm gonna say they're bright kids. It's not gonna take too long.
Yeah, you'll blink, and then all of a sudden, your daughter's gonna be wishing she could vote in the upcoming election. And you're in 8th grade. I wasn't thinking about that stuff when I was in the 8th grade, but she's already there.
How about you? Are you?
I'm going to go with you guys on the debate thing in high school. I was on the debate team, and our teacher guy, actually, we didn't know this, but he had us set up our whole first, we were debating the environment, and so we had set up our whole case and everything else, and then he had us switch sides after we had done all the research on purpose. So that because he wanted to show us how important it was that when you do research, that you research both sides, not just the side you want to prove. That way you can defend either way. And so that was really enlightening, and it also was very enlightening because I walked away from debate going, for every theory there's out there are equally smart men and women that are against it. You can talk about environment. Global warming, man-made versus non, and there are equally intelligent people on both sides of that battle, and it's frustrating because you really want just to have one side be right, and it busts me up every time there's another MIT guy that comes out that's on this side of it, and I'm like, wait, what about? Yeah, so that was one thing I walked away from with that is just you end up having to believe what you're going to believe in the end. But that was mine. I had to debate something I didn't believe in.
Matt, do you have any good ones?
Well, Ara and I were lab partners in physics in high school, and that's actually where we met. And we had an extra credit project where volunteers could debate Copernicus versus Ptolemy. And
that old bag.
like 5 or 6 kids signed up for Copernicus, and they were like, oh, this is going to be easy. We signed up for Ptolemy and actually went and read the Ptolemaic works and stuff like that. So we actually came prepared to the debate, and there were only 2 of us, so even if we lost, we got more extra credit each than the Copernicus team did. And so we really had nothing to lose. We just gave it our best, and we just kicked their butts. They weren't prepared at all, and the class was like, we can see this. This is actually, you answered all the questions. And so that was pretty epic, and we, got so much extra credit that we didn't have to do any homework for the rest of the quarter.
Wow.
It's pretty epic.
Yeah.
That's impressive. That's
It was fun. I don't know that it was impressive, but it was fun.
Well, I think if you win a debate and you know you're wrong, then that's pretty good. It's not really one of those subjective things where I can see it both ways. But no, you're legitimately wrong.
Yeah.
And, I've had a couple times on the app where I've done where I found someone who I knew had a particular viewpoint and argued farther to that side than they were, and had them actually argue back towards what I actually believed, which has been fun. But I think you can only do that so many times with the same people before they catch on.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I think a few users that may never catch on.
That's true.
There are some very special people.
In every group, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Except this group. This group's good. Let's see. Jenna asks a handful of questions, and
She's
they're
good at that.
and they're unrelated to each other. So I guess we'll do them separately. What's your favorite part about Show Hands?
The people. Sorry, I answered out of turn.
No,
The people.
good.
I really like the people. I really like you guys. And, like, there have been some really great people that I've met and chatted with and talked to on the app. And I just, they're great. They're the reason why I come back.
Yeah, I like the people too. I like the fact that it's a place that I can go and I can have meaningful conversations with people that I would never see or meet in real life. And I'm not just talking like Bob over here. I'm talking, I'll never, in this part of North Carolina, it's pretty doubtful I'm going to meet a cross-dresser. Or someone who is out there saying that I'm a sadomasochist, or just a vegan crusader. Shout out to Vegan Crusader in case he's watching. It's good for me because like most people, I hang out with people that are like me, and so it's incredibly interesting to me to get to dive into relationships with these people that I would just never come in contact with.
That's cool.
For sure. And I agree with you completely. I think we both run into this, but I run into this a lot where there are people that I'll talk to on the app who are, 10, 15 years older than me or 10, 15 years younger than me. And they're people that in a regular situation I probably wouldn't ever come across even just for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
But no, coming from very different places too. There are plenty of people who have ideas and viewpoints and stuff where I think, I've read something about these ideas, but I've never actually met someone who thinks this.
Mm-hmm.
And, even like you were saying earlier with smart people on both sides of an issue, there are things from like, no, there's no logical way. There's no logical way to arrive at this conclusion. And then you run into someone who knows what they're talking about and who did arrive at that conclusion. Like, oh, okay, yeah.
And will die on that hill defending that conclusion, even though they are the only person on the planet who still thinks that the Holocaust is completely made up,
Yeah.
So I have run into that, so it's out there. But, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Oh, man, people who get really worked up over things that you're like, I don't understand why this matters. And then the other way around, people who say things like, I don't understand why this matters. And like, this is the most important thing to me. How does that not,
Or your Starbucks cups.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody did a poll earlier today, and I forgot who, but they said, have you ever, or have you actually seen someone who's been upset by the Starbucks cups, or has it just been people complaining about people being upset? I don't know. I haven't seen anyone, but
I've never met anybody who's actually been angry about the holiday thing at all. The only places I ever see it is in media. It's and I get around. It's not like I'm sitting somewhere.
Oh,
Yeah,
I had a lady.
about that, Rhonda. You laugh anyway. I do get around, but I get shot, so we're good. No, but yeah, other than on social media, and even those people aren't, they're upset about people being upset.
I met a woman in Target last year who went on a rant about the fact that you could not buy nativity scenes in the store. You could only buy them online. And that is like the closest to outrage that
Okay.
I've gotten.
All right, well, that's closer than I've gotten. Maybe I'll start reading the store. That guy.
I've had someone who has made a big point of saying it's not a holiday tree, it's not a whatever. I'm going to put up my Christmas tree and it was okay. Do it.
Yeah, rock on.
I don't think anyone's trying to stop you.
Nope.
You can't put
Let's
this
kind of burn somebody a tree. That's the problem. Then we have an issue. Yeah.
What about you, Blake? What do you like?
I mean, the people, yeah. And also the fact that I tend to learn a little something every day that I'm on it, which is rare now. I'm a little inactive compared to what I used to be. But if I haven't paid attention to the news one day, I can see all sorts of opinions about it before I've even read the article.
Whether you want to or not.
Yeah. It's interesting, like y'all said, to see the different points of view of people. And I don't know. I like to come up with my own conclusion, obviously, but that's good and bad. But mostly it's meeting people on here that are genuinely good people all around the country. You don't get to do that all the time. I mean, I guess you could wander the internet, but I don't really do that. So
Right.
Other than on here. But yeah, people are good.
I don't know. I think that as long as you stay any kind of up to date, you'll never be able to serve on the jury for a major case ever again.
Right.
Let's see. Kyle and Ron, you answered. Kyle, did you answer?
I didn't, but
You should.
I used to say the people, and that would be like oh, they're all freaking awesome. But I think as time has gone on, I like fewer and fewer people. and I think it's partially just because when I'm on the app, I answer so many questions that I don't really have as much time to pay attention to people. And the amount of people I find that actually are worth my time are less numerous now than in the past. So what I like...
I don't like anything about the app. I don't know why I even have the app.
Actually, a lot of times I do, I have this crisis where it's like, I'm going to delete it, and then I'm like, well, what would I do for that 5 seconds where I have nothing to do? Or where I'm just laying in bed where I should be sleeping? What was I going to do then? No, I would say that the diversity of opinions, even though I have a problem with the fact that it's just US, but that's a different issue. But the diversity within opinions. So that's probably it.
Okay.
Side note, I had an awesome discussion earlier tonight. Well, actually, no. Now it's yesterday. It's 4 o'clock in the morning here, almost 5. But about American politics with someone from Germany. So that was cool.
Oh, that was cool.
Where are you, Kyle?
I'm in the Netherlands at the moment.
Cool.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, it's where I'm studying for the semester.
He's on at 4 or 5 in the morning.
That's dedication, people. Dedication right there.
Not only is he on, he's not even drinking coffee.
Yeah, well, no, I woke up at 2. I was video chatting with my father because he's getting surgery tomorrow. And then I was debating on either going back to bed and waking up and looking worse than I do now, or staying up and looking at least moderately shitty. so I think, I don't know which was the better idea, but yeah.
Well, knowing that it's that early in the morning there, you get you don't get any points docked for being a little bit late tonight. So
Okay.
we'll forgive you for that.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, we were actually going to whip you, but we're going to let it go this time.
Right. Maybe next time lead with that. You know, I'm late. It's
Yeah,
you know.
we almost did. Yeah.
We were going to send Kindle colleges to your door.
Oh no.
Could have been disastrous.
No, it's
I mentioned it because I think he's watching. Or I said he might.
Yeah, I sent him the link. So I know he has been watching. I don't know if he still is, but he was.
Let's see. Have you ever ridden a motorbike?
No.
Yeah, back when I was, I guess, in middle school, I had a friend who had a homemade motorbike. And, you know, back when you're in middle school in the backwoods of South Carolina, there's no helmet, you know, and you're on a homemade bike. And I'd never ridden anything, you know, with a motor before. And so I remember he had one brake on one hand and the throttle was on the other. And the brake was on the front tire. And I had forgotten that I had the throttle wide open. And so I was trying to stop. So I had the brake engaged with my left hand and the throttle wide open with my right, which just ended up doing donuts. And so I'm wetting myself because I was scared to death. But all of my friends thought it was the coolest thing ever that I figured out how to do donuts because I was the first one to do donuts. So that's the only thing I can think of when I'm thinking motorbikes.
That reminds me of Pee Wee Herman's Great Adventure when he does a whole thing with the bike.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah, I meant to do that. And everybody's like, whoa. Yeah. So now you've been compared to Pee Wee Herman. Congratulations.
Yeah, well, bucket list, check.
I think that would be the non-bucket list, like things to avoid.
Things to avoid for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
The toilet. Yeah.
If this never happens again.
Yeah.
But you mentioned not wearing a helmet. No one here wears helmets. Like, not a single person. It's like, it's the exception. So, but I also think it's different because here, cyclists and people that are on scooters or motorcycles, like, they're more numerous overall, I think, than car drivers. And the system's built around cyclists. So, like, there are entire roads dedicated to mopeds or to bicycles. So I think people are just generally more aware. That just, you're mentioning not wearing a helmet
That's
made
cool.
sense.
People have to wear helmets here. No, they don't anymore. But my kids yell at people in the car. If we pass someone who's not wearing a helmet, they'll
And first,
Yeah.
yeah. That's why I had to switch to my phone.
frozen.
Danny's back.
Okay.
Is
Was
he
that
moving?
frozen?
Yeah, you were frozen. Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to come to all
Yells
of you
at
with
people with helmets, and I really want to know because I want to know what your kids are yelling.
mostly they yell things like "fool of a toque, wear a helmet," which is which is probably as severe as it gets coming from like a 2-year-old.
Mm,
But it's fun.
yeah, I guess it's kind of like cotton-headed ninny muggins.
Hmm. Cotton-headed enigma. Yep.
Uh, um, so what else? Sorry, I had to duck out for a second. I had someone awake.
Mm.
It wasn't Julie, was it?
No, no, I don't think awake is happening there anymore.
He's all done, huh?
hmm It's been a pretty big week, 3 weeks, 4 maybe, and I think it all caught up at once. And then my youngest is teething. She's doing her whatever they 2-year molars,
Mm.
which means everyone in the house is like low grade sick, and it just wears on you.
Yeah.
Good times.
It's not sick enough to actually be miserable. It's just enough to where you're like, why am I tired? I don't get. Oh yeah, that's right. Let's see.
What
Do you
were
like?
we talking?
She asks if you like cheese. Jenna asks if you like cheese. Does anyone not like cheese?
Never met a cheese I didn't like.
Is anyone objectively wrong about life? Is basically the question.
Right. Those two questions are the same.
I can't eat moldy cheese, but I like all other types of cheese.
I mean, there's someone in the class I'm teaching who is a vegan, and she says that her big hang up was giving up cheese. That was the most difficult part.
Yeah, I can see that.
She says she could give up.
Yeah.
She
Yeah,
said she could
because
give up, bacon and hamburgers and whatever, but once it came to giving up cheese, she had a really hard time.
I have to say though, in terms of like vegan substitutes, they've come pretty far in terms of the cheese department. It's not the same, but it's definitely better than like I was a vegetarian a few years ago, and I had a very, very, very short vegan phase. Um,
I've had a vegan phase for the last like 3 hours.
The worst 2 hours of my life, let me tell you.
yeah, but there weren't nearly as many substitutes as there are now. But it's good. Like every once in a while, I have a week where I'm like, I'll do vegan, just as a maybe I could do this, and then it makes me realize that I can't. It's just,
Maybe this would be a good question to ask too. Then, if you had to go vegan or consider it or whatever, what would be the hardest thing for you to give up? I assume none of you are.
No.
Ow.
So, what would be the hardest thing for you to give up?
As in general, or
If you were going vegan from this point onward,
my intelligence? Sorry.
my cousin's a vegan.
My mom was a vegan. Yeah.
no, I've had this discussion with a couple of people, and I think I've come to the conclusion that the hardest thing for me to give up would be eggs.
Mm.
Like, I think I could be okay without meat per se, but I really like eggs. Eggs and some kind of breakfast potato, and I could live on that. I really could. If I could have runny eggs and hash browns, I could
Yes!
live on that.
That's been my lunch for the past week, every day.
Wow, I'm so sad for you. That's Are you in prison or something?
No, I've been just craving eggs and hash browns, and my husband makes fantastic hash browns, and so he's like, "What do you want for lunch?" And I was like, "Oh, eggs and hash browns." And he's like, "Again? Seriously?"
My kids do this all the time. I end up making eggs and hash browns and like sausage or whatever, pretty frequently, and I think they have crazy tastes for being as young as they are. My oldest is sick, and yesterday, 2 days ago, we're sitting at home and everyone's having just kind of a snack because we were going to go out for a walk, and what do you want for a snack, buddy? He goes, can I have some hash browns and a Vegemite sandwich? Are you? Yeah, we can do that.
So do you actually have access to a Vegemite, whatever that is?
Oh yeah. I'll go get it. I'll show you.
Yeah, please. I've never seen such a beast. I've heard of it thanks to Men at Work, but I've never actually seen what the land down under eats, I guess.
So what
I'm
would you
stuck.
like for you guys to give up in the meantime? I'll be right back.
I think the hardest thing for me would be to educate myself on what I couldn't eat. I would probably say I'm going to go vegan, and then I'd get me a salad, and I'd put cheese on it, and maybe some boiled eggs, and some bacon bits. And
Your
think
salad dressing can't have eggs in it, so if you like ranch or
exactly.
if you like...
I could give it a shot, but I'd fail miserably because of just the hard work of avoiding everything. I couldn't even go vegetarian, much less vegan.
Yeah.
Just it's so far away from what I would normally do.
Yeah, I get that. Well, Era's diabetic, so to try and go low protein, low carb would be ridiculous. That would be ridiculously hard.
Yeah.
So that would be like half of our food. Like we go to the grocery store and we shop the vegetable section and the meat section. That would be almost half of it. So I don't know. But then I also really like half and half in my coffee, and that would just be kiss it off.
Yeah. So milk, you can't have milk. See, I'm learning all new stuff about this vegan stuff.
Any animal product. So it could be
even honey.
Or,
yeah.
Honey. Oh my word.
Yeah. But you'd actually, I mean, the times when I do make a conscious effort to do like a vegan week it's actually pretty enlightening, because a lot of times you eat things and you don't really think so much about what's in it. You're just like, I'm going to eat this. But when you actually have to pay attention to something, it forces you to really, well, pay attention. And whereas I otherwise just generally don't care. And I'm looking for a specific taste, or like, I want that, and I don't even care about what's in it.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you. I've done various different types of fasts and things in my years, and it really makes you think about a lot of the stuff that we put down in our face.
I think, and I've had this discussion with a couple people on the app, especially who will make arguments about how vegans live in general however much longer, and I wonder how much of it is the actual being vegan, like the actual lack of animal products, versus the paying actual attention to what you're eating. And for the most part, I think people who are vegan, well, one, have to pay more attention to what they're eating, but two, also tend to be the same sort of people who pair that with a pretty active lifestyle and whatever. So to talk about an average lifespan of a vegan versus a non-vegan, I think to compare apples to apples, I'd like to see something more like a vegan versus somebody who has a similar lifestyle that happens to also eat animal products. I think there are a lot of variables in there. Though,
but I think factoring in the lifestyle is part of it, because if a person if a person that's a vegan tends to have a certain lifestyle, then that would have to be part of the consideration, whether it's the result of being a vegan or whether the lifestyle leads to being a vegan.
Yeah, correlation versus causation.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, there's a difference between someone who, so I'm a non-vegan and I exercise pretty regularly. I run a lot. I run marathons, and I'm pretty much always on my feet and whatever. And I will fall into the same category for statistical purposes as someone who's chicken wings on the couch all day long.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what I mean? Like, and it's not that I'm trying to be defensive about it by any means. It's for the sake of a statistic, like vegans tend to live this much longer. I'm interested, from a purely academic standpoint, I suppose, to see how much of it has to do with the not eating animal products and how much is just making generally better decisions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. These are thoughts that pop in my head.
They're good thoughts. This is how you improve science.
Yeah, we do it with Ben. This is a kind of Vegemite.
So is it a spread? Is it a spam product, or?
It's a spread, and it looks, well,
Like tar.
it looks, like tar, like Nutella, whatever. And most of the time when people try it, they absolutely hate it. And the reason for it, I can defend this because I think it's delicious. The reason for it is because they put way too much of it on there. So when we spread things on sandwiches, like, jam or peanut butter or whatever, we spread enough on there to make sure everything's covered and whatever, right?
Right.
This says in tiny little letters on here, I don't know if you can read it, spread thinly.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
And while that's really written very small, the fact that this is a full-size jar is also a hint. Like, this thing will last for months because you spread it so thin on there. So you get toast, and then you put some butter on there, and then you spread this on here very, very thinly. Like, it's really enough to maybe shift the color of the toast to a bit darker. And it's fantastic. It's really good when you eat it like that.
So
Do you eat it with anything else, or just that?
I put it on toast and I eat it with eggs.
tonight's show of Hands Hangout brought to you by Vegemite.
sponsored by. So if I were to go look for some of this concoction in central North Carolina, what part of the grocery store would I go to?
Foreign food aisle, if you have one.
Okay.
It's North Carolina. They don't have any foreign dedicated anything.
That's right. We try to keep the foreigners out.
Rhonda, do you guys use Kroger's down there? What do you have? What are your stores there?
I'm a we'll do Food Lion, Harris Teeter, Walmart, that type of stuff.
Harris Teeter should have it.
I've seen Vegemite also in like the area where the health foodish stuff is, the vegetarian aisle, essentially. You can look for it there too. Sometimes it's even in the coolers, like up on the top shelf in the coolers near where you'd see like the fake butter and all that stuff.
Okay. All right. Challenge accepted.
But really, don't spread a lot on there because you will hate it if you spread much on there.
Well, my goal is to have some and to eat it for the first time next Tuesday night on Hangout. So that'll bring the viewers back.
I'll have one with you. I've got probably about this much left in this jar, and that'll last for a good long while.
I would equate it to horseradish almost. It's about proportion. Like, it can be good if you eat it in the right amount, or like, oh my god, I hate myself.
I think it tastes the same. I was like, I don't.
Okay, but just for the record, if I have this and I do decide to go vegan, it's not on the vegan diet.
It is.
It is on the vegan diet.
It is
Okay.
100%. It says on the thing that it's 100% vegetarian, but there are no animal products in there. It could just as easily say it's 100% vegan.
Okay. All right.
Time to get started.
I'll go on the great Vegemite hunt tomorrow.
It's,
So we'll see.
yeah, you'll see jars that either say Vegemite or Marmite. That's a popular one as the stuff goes. Popular is taken with a grain of salt there.
Air quotes, popular.
Yes.
Ron, do y'all have Whole Foods down there yet?
We do have Whole Foods. Actually,
Whole Foods probably have it.
I'm not 100%, but I think Whole Foods is located in, like the corporate office is in Winston-Salem, where I am. I'm not 100% on that.
Whole
I
Foods
shall.
empty pockets.
So
Yes.
look at.
Full paycheck.
So, but yes, we do have Whole Foods. That's a great. I just never go to Whole Foods.
I don't either, but
Don't. It's a
if
trap.
you really care about fondant.
Yeah.
Oh, Susan R. busted out her Vegemite too to show you.
Oh, by the way, Kindologist said he's on his way to you, Kyle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll see him later.
Okay. It's
Yeah.
gonna take him a while to get there, but
It
He's
takes
on his
a
way to
while
you.
to get here.
Let's see. We have Aylin is glad to hear that you're alive, Kyle.
Who?
Hey, Lynn.
Oh, yeah, I'm alive, mostly. Depends on the day. I'm on exchange, so some days I don't know if I'm alive or if alcohol being more than the actual rest of my blood is a good thing. But
Those
Yeah.
are the risks.
and it's very unusual because I think at home I drink the equivalent of maybe 4 drinks a week at most on average, whereas here, when I do go out, it's maybe once or twice a week, and it's like, it's just,
Nothing. I think there's a difference because it costs so little.
yeah, partially that, and partially, like, you don't really have an option a lot of times. It's kind of like, because everything that the students do here is in a really crappy bar, or it's just a miserable place if you're sober. And I've come to realize that the times when I do just not drink. But to be fair, I'm always the most sober one in the room, which I don't know if that's really saying much.
That's a low bar there.
But I'm usually the one babysitting people, if that counts, in my defense. Anyway, next question.
We had to find our nobility somewhere.
Babysitting drunk people.
Oh man. Oh, have you ever ruined your favorite shirt?
have you ever what?
Ruined your favorite shirt?
Mm.
Does anyone actually have a favorite shirt? Like,
Yeah,
is
that's
this a
where I was
thing?
going.
Yes, I do.
I have a favorite shirt. Yeah.
It's a plain black shirt. It's not really anything exciting.
Mine
But
is.
it's really comfortable.
There you go.
So I can say no.
I have a handful of shirts that are roughly the same. They're different, colors and whatever, but they are generally the same, and I like those more than I like my other shirts, I suppose. But it's just a comfort thing. I guess I've ruined one in the sense of I was sitting by a bonfire and burned a hole in it.
I had this sweater that. Sorry.
No, I'm done.
My mom gave me this sweater that I asked for, and it was an Angora sweater, and it was my favorite color, and it was just perfect, and I got it for like birthday or Christmas or whatever. And I did not cut the tag. I ripped the tag, and it was one of those moments where you seriously wish that you had Control Z, because I was just like, I do not believe I just ripped a hole in my sweater. Like, the thing that I've been coveting for 6 months, you know, this is like, and you can't undo that. So I never got to wear it except to try it on in the store and tell my mom what size I wanted. And that really sucked. So always use scissors to cut those tags off. They don't always break easily.
Lesson learned.
My father-in-law got a new suit for Christmas several years ago, and there was something on the sleeve, like some type of label, and he tried to cut it off.
Things.
He tried to cut it off and ended up in his brand new suit before he ever wore it, cutting a hole in the sleeve. You got to understand my father-in-law. He's a special person, and he a bull in a china shop doesn't really come close. He is just incredible, and he's all action, no thought. And the sad thing is, after he ruined something, he doesn't really understand why he did it, so he would turn around and do the exact same thing again. There's no learning curve whatsoever. So it was he is the stuff of legend. But anyway, my mother-in-law was not really pleased that he had not even worn the suit that she bought him for Christmas, and he'd already ruined it.
Maybe he did it on purpose just so he wouldn't have to wear a suit.
Well, I would not give him that much credit, but
Okay.
you know, really,
I see there's not a lot of love lost there.
well, he is a sweet man, but you don't ever want to be asleep when he's in the house. He's just going through beating and banging and everything, and then trying to say, how come you're up? Well, you know, you set off a bomb while, you know, in the next room. But no, I've never ruined my shirt, to my knowledge.
I had a French cuff shirt. My only French cuff shirt. How often do you wear a French cuff shirt? And actually, I had 2 pairs of cufflinks and 1 French cuff shirt. And I spilled red wine on it at a friend's wedding. And it's white, or off-white or something. And I have an area in my closet where I put all the clothes I need to take to the dry cleaner, and I don't go to the dry cleaner often, so I didn't think about it. And so I ended up taking it like a couple weeks later, and the dry cleaner gave it back with still a spot on it with a little tag, and they said, "Oh yeah, we couldn't fix the stain without ruining the shirt." And I said, "Well, the shirt's already ruined. Just ruin it more. I don't try to get it out. If it doesn't work, throw it out. That's fine. You know, because I have it in my closet with a spot on it that I can't wear, and I don't want to throw it out. I want try again maybe."
So what happened?
What's that?
Did they get the stain out? We the end of the
No,
store?
no. They just gave it back to me and said we'd ruin it if we tried to get the stain out anymore. And I said, well, it's ruined. Can you try
if you
again?
put white wine on a red wine stain within a reasonable amount of time after you've spilt it, supposedly it helps to reduce the amount of staining that actually affects the clothing. I haven't tried it. I would look up an article before you actually do that.
I've also heard that taking the shirt and then dipping it in a bucket of red wine after you spill red wine on it. Makes all the difference.
Yes.
I don't think that's the proper method.
It won't be white anymore, but it'll be all uniform colored. Yeah.
And it'll smell great.
Let me know how it works out for you.
Oh, and last week I had this pullover I like wearing, and I'd gone to the store and got some caulk. I needed the caulk between my countertop and the tile. And I came home and I was just so ready to get that over with that I just wore that and didn't change clothes. And now that pullover is, got several spots of pulp on it that won't come out.
Mm.
Those are the only two I can think of.
Did everything just chop out?
Eh.
Hmm.
Nope, we're still here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's weird. All the pictures were frozen, and then the sound just kind of faded out. But what is? I can't hear you at all, Madge. Can anyone else hear her?
I'm not saying anything.
Oh, well, do I?
That's a good reason that we can't hear you.
I'm listening to my son talk about raiding the cupboard for cookies, and we have Trader Joe's candy cane JoJo's are in season, and so I'm debating like whether or not I'm gonna ask them to get me one. They're really good. The pumpkin ones are really great too, but they didn't last so long, so we only got one box.
They never do.
No, they don't.
Okay, if you know they don't last very long, wouldn't that be? It's kind of like you have to stock up, or
You know, I thought that I would be back in town soon enough to get another box, but within 3 days they were sold out. So I was not anticipating a 3-day short.
I just remembered I have another favorite cookie.
Another favorite cookie.
Going back to the very beginning of the show, Oreos dipped in white chocolate.
Ooh.
Only released during Christmas. But I stock up. I get like 5 or 6 boxes, and they'll last me through the year. And you know you're a really good friend if I pop open my last box of white chocolate Oreo cookies.
You know what?
That's pretty epic.
You can pop that box open all you want and enjoy those bad boys because I will not be eating them.
Well, then you're invited over anytime you want.
Now, if you open a bag of pork rinds near Aylin, though, holy cow, it's like a whirlwind. You'll just tear those things up.
Really?
Yeah, she loves them.
No kidding.
I'll watch the comment section in SoHHO here in a minute. She'll come back and let us know how much she loves pork rinds.
No kidding. Someone has to. It's not going to be me.
I like it.
There's an industry out there.
I find it a delicious treat.
You figure it has to happen or they'd stop selling them, but
I don't know.
someone or other, oh man, so someone or other on the app was really defensive about maybe candy corn.
everything.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's
I was a
some.
little bitter these days about SOH.
Just pick the subject.
It might have been about candy corn or something, and yeah, and it was just this back and forth thing where the first person said something like, I don't actually know anyone I've never heard of anyone who likes candy corn, and they went on this big thing about, lots of people like it because it's the most popular selling, and I'm like, wow. Talk about one of those things that I didn't think mattered to someone.
That was, I think, on my poll for Timeline Tuesday.
It probably was.
And I think I recall going, oh yeah, here's a whole bunch of information about candy corn, because I just did a whole bunch of research on the subject, but I never actually said how much I hate this stuff.
Yeah, they're nasty.
Oh, it's awful.
I actually like it. But
You can have all of the millions of pounds of it.
No, it's one of those things that I can eat a little bit of, and then I'm tired of it. So I like it enough to eat some, but it's not something that I would sit there and down a whole bag.
I try some about every 5 years to remind myself of why I don't eat it.
That's what I say about cocaine.
My wife loves it. This year, my wife bought some. Hershey's came out with some white chocolate candy bars but had little candy corn pieces in them.
Oh,
And
because
my
Hershey's
wife,
wasn't bad enough.
yeah, she's been sucking that stuff down like it's going out of style. So
My son uses Hershey's as an insult for chocolate. So he was like,
It is. It's
He's like-
synonymous.
he's like, Mom, this pudding, it tastes a little Hershey's. And it's like, oh, that means you don't like it, okay?
Awesome. We have my 4-year-old says some crazy things like this, and one of them is say something smells like stink. It's not even that something stinks, but she's like, I don't really like. What was it? We were at a restaurant, I think, and she smelled someone else's food. And she goes, I don't really want to try it. It smells like stink. Well, yeah, it really does. It looks awful. But that's good. Do you enjoy a formal?
I'm sorry, Ronderman is distracting me with whatever. Oh, it's a dog.
Yep, it's a dog.
The chocolate
She won't
covered
leave me alone.
Oreo.
She wanted some of that Hershey's, which obviously she can't have.
Right.
But she won't leave me alone, so I decided to bring her up.
I'm sorry. I happened to run into a clip from Family Guy, and it was just a clip where they fed a dog chocolate and put a tinfoil hat on it and put it in a microwave. And when you were talking about the dog not having chocolate, it reminded me of that.
Okay.
They were basically saying, don't give dogs chocolate and put them in microwaves.
You know, that's always a good rule of thumb.
Yeah.
With an aluminum hat, no less.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're going to do it, you might as well make it absolutely ridiculous. And I think that the tinfoil hat always puts things beyond ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. We have a couple of questions left. I'm going to try and do a couple more and probably do them relatively quickly because I think we're already over by a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Because, we still kind of try and pretend that this goes an hour instead of just saying it goes 90 minutes. Because if I were to say it goes 90 minutes, then we'd expect 90 minutes and go 2 hours. I really think that's true.
We could have a marathon session.
Yeah.
That could be good. British guy, if you went to university or college, did you get into your first choice or dream school? If you didn't go, then did you get to do your dream job?
I only applied to one school, got in.
Yep, same here.
Same here, but it wasn't what I wanted to do. And I didn't know what I wanted to do until last year.
But now you're doing it?
As a hobby. I don't have a lot of money to buy supplies for it, but if I could go back and do my life over, I would tell myself creativity and practicality are not mutually exclusive and you're creative, and then I would go to design school.
Okay.
Preferably in Italy.
I went to the only school that I applied to, and I didn't really apply to it. I just I showed up. They said they'd find me lunch if I went and did a tour, and then they said, hey, if you fill out this, if you sign right here, we'll accept you. Sure. That was my college search.
Are you a zombie? No? Okay, you're in.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I had taken the, ACT and SAT, and they had my scores and stuff because they gave options to, to submit the score to all in-state schools, and so I said, sure, why not? And then, yeah, I went and toured there, and they said, hey, we'd love to have you go here. You already bought me lunch. I mean, yeah, let's do it.
Lunch.
You're a cheap date.
It was at a time in my life where lunch was a really big deal. So,
I'm still in that period of my life.
yeah,
That period of my life, it's about 12 o'clock every day.
yeah. I was pretty seriously in need of food. So I said sure, and then I ended up going to college there. I don't think that's how most people do it, but
Whatevs. It seems to have worked for you.
Yeah.
yeah. Grad school, I applied to a couple of places, but it seems my undergrad school, despite their buy me a lunch program, wasn't very good at things. Wasn't very good at anything bureaucratic, and they insist that they will send transcripts for you, that you don't have to send them. They didn't submit my transcripts. So when I applied to first med school and then grad school, I got letters back eventually when application deadlines passed saying, we really liked your application, and if we would have gotten your transcript, you would be going here now. Great. So the grad school that I ended up at, incidentally, was because they were willing to extend the deadline for me. They said they had saved me a spot, and if I wanted to go, if I could get my transcript there by the end of the day, then good. And so my lovely wife, who was very, very pregnant with our second, drove to the undergrad school we both went to, printed out transcripts, then drove to the grad school, which is in a different city altogether, and got there before close. And it was a whole big mess, but she did it.
Yay, Julie!
And gave birth the same day.
I was gonna say, and she drove uphill 2 ways in the snow.
It was late summer, I think,
Okay.
early summer.
But it's Michigan, so potentially there was snow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there wasn't much.
No, I the other day grilled breakfast on the deck in the snow. Kind of a weird combination of stuff, but it worked out well.
You grilled breakfast.
Yeah, we've discovered that if you do, so pancakes are very, very sweet anyway, right? But if you take pancakes and you use them as, this sounds awful, but it's really good, as buns for brats, it's really, really, it's got kind of a sweet and salty thing going, and it's really, really
With
good.
or without maple syrup?
We did without, but one of the kids did with. And apparently it works fine with. It also works with
Hot sauce.
powdered sugar if you're willing to take the word of a 4-year-old. I did mine without powdered sugar and was quite pleased.
I think any of those could work.
Mm-hmm.
And
I would also take into consideration hot sauce of some sort.
it sounds quite healthy as well.
You know,
Yeah, very, very vegan oriented.
Yes. I'm having a
based on
vegan
all the things that I've seen people talk about on this app and on this show, not today, but in the past, it's probably not the worst breakfast of everything that anyone eats.
Yeah, I mean, what you're describing is in the family of the McGriddle.
Yeah.
I will admit I have eaten a fair number of in my life. Probably why I will have my entire portfolio later in my life. But they're kind of good.
I can recommend it. The brats we get have some kind of a jalapeno thing going with them too, and it's really good.
How did we get from college to pancake brats?
Doesn't that sound like a natural progression? The only thing you're missing is the weed in the middle.
The beauty of show of hands hangout.
Yeah.
I'll make a video for you later, Kyle, about how the whole progression.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very involved. I actually just went back and I was like, oh yeah, I see where the transition happened there, and the weather details about Michigan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Blake, what about you? School?
Yeah, I guess I didn't really go to my dream school, but um, there were two that I wanted to go to, and I didn't really apply to any harder schools. But I guess dream school was that I had fun. I came out with a decent degree, and um, it was mildly a party school, but it was pretty good academically too. Not a dream job. I work for family, so probably not. Um, it's that's a little tough, but it's good though. It has its perks. Yeah, I can't really complain too much.
So you're a builder person?
Builder.
No, we're electrical contractors.
Okay.
So,
All I remember about you is that
Uh-huh.
you and I get into some great conversations about what to do with your house.
oh yeah. My house is very old, so I've learned a lot of things that aren't necessarily just in the electrical industry.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a fun topic.
Yes.
But yeah, it's good. I can't complain. Not a dream, but of course we can't all fly around the world and I guess count money. Wouldn't that be a dream job? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd take that. Beard and Kyle and Madge, I think we skipped over all three of you.
For what?
Did
Oh,
you-
we didn't really skip over you.
Yeah,
No.
she went to the one she went and didn't get the job.
Right. Creativity and practicality.
Yeah.
But Beard and Kyle.
Beardman, go.
I got to about halfway through my 12th grade year and realized I hadn't taken my SAT and my ACT. And I didn't want to stay in the town I lived in. And I was like, you know what? I'm going Navy. I'm getting the hell out of here. And so I did that for 5 years and came out. And I was going to become a paramedic and then a PA. And then I started having kids. That kind of blew things out of the water.
Did you come out while you were in the Navy? Because you said you were in the Navy and then you came out.
Oh yeah, well yeah, but yeah, well, and no, then I went back in. Very confusing time for me. No, I came out and got married to a woman, as far as I know. And then yeah, so no, then I went to college later, and I do have a job that I enjoy, and it's I only have an associate's degree, but I do very well for myself in that. So yeah.
Very nice.
It's your turn, Kyle.
Yeah. I took a specific path when I was starting college. I started my associates. I did community college, and I was accepted to other schools, but I knew I'm getting my bachelor's, which I'm still getting. And even for my bachelor's, I transferred to a state school versus going to a private school because I actually didn't really feel like putting the effort in to get scholarships, which I figured out once I started at my four-year school was a mistake because I realized that it's very, very easy to get scholarships. But I didn't really aim particularly high since I didn't want to do the cost for my undergrad. But for my master's, I guess I'll let you know if I get into my number one choice. I don't know yet, so.
Well, good luck.
Thanks. Yeah, I still have to do some applications, but they're so expensive. Like, just one of the applications is almost $300.
Ridiculous.
It's obscene, and it's just like I'm still trying to figure out if I want to do. I'm applying to at least 2 international schools, and then three schools back home. So
Wait, for grad school, your applications are that much?
yeah,
What are you going
it's
into?
an MBA application. So
Okay.
it's basically a bunch of bureaucratic nonsense that they're assuming that you just want to waste money.
Welcome to business, right?
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
I-
exactly. It's not like I'm studying government. I don't want to waste money.
Right. Wow, that's incredible.
Man. Yeah, like I don't think I have to pay for applications at all. But
Yeah. Well, I have to take the GMAT first, and then once I do the applications, I mean, one of them was 150, one of them is 300, one of them it's like, uh,
mhm. Or
like
for
I'm getting a scholarship just to pay for college application.
for grad school for physics, I had to take the GRE and then the physics GRE.
Hmm.
And that physics GRE was easily the hardest test I've ever taken, including what I've done in grad school.
Yeah.
It was so much stuff. It's like they test you on every bit of physics you're supposed to have learned in 4 or 5 years. And you're supposed to be able to recall every detail. It's awful. It's absolutely awful because it's not subdivided at all.
Hmm.
So you come up with you come across questions where you're like, this applies to like 3 different fields, and I can I'm not sure. I don't know which one I'm using. I took a lot of those practice ones, but it worked out well. I don't know. Vegan Crusader asks if you're a human supremacist.
Yes. Can we define a human supremacist?
Thinks you're
Basically,
better than any other animal.
yeah. So what you would expect it to be? I can say that I believe I am a human supremacist. Yep.
I even have a membership card.
It sounds unflattering, and I know animals are capable of lots of different things, but yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Is anyone not a human supremacist on the panel tonight?
At the very least, I have to say human supremacist makes me think of Austin Powers and the group of evil people at VirtueCon. It sounds like they would all be human supremacists. and that's actually why they're there.
Yeah, those polls that come up every once in a great while, they haven't come up in a while that I've seen, but they come up once in a great while of like, such and such, your bratty neighbor kid is drowning, and at the same time your beloved dog is drowning or something, and which one do you save? And like I always see people discussing it back and forth and stuff, and to me, yeah, I will say human supremacist, sure, because to me I'm saving the kid every time.
Yeah. Well, I remember back several months ago that I'd gotten into a discussion with somebody, and he had asked a question of if it was the choice between 5 puppies or 1 baby, which would you save?
Baby.
And yeah, I said, well, I can't believe that it wouldn't be the baby. And this person, I don't even remember who it was, said, now if you're talking 50 puppies, that'd be a different story.
Well,
Really?
that's got a cutoff number.
Yeah, but what's your number then?
What's the threshold? How many puppies have to die before the baby's just not working?
Exactly. How many puppies is worth a baby? And it was this person couldn't understand my viewpoint, and so it ended up. I said, okay, I'll put out a poll and I'll see if I'm more in the mainstream or if you are, and so it kind of took on a life of its own. But yeah, I was that goes back to the awesome show of hands that I'm going to come in contact with people on here that I wouldn't come in contact with normally. Someone who would actually argue that 50 puppies is worth more than a baby.
I actually think I voted for the puppies when you posted those polls. I don't know if it was because of the wording, and I felt like you were trying to push a point, so I voted the opposite, or if I was actually thinking that. So I can't remember it. I can't remember that anymore.
I've begun to think that SOH needs to change the name of the app from Show of Hands to Which Pain Do You Prefer Less? It's like a majority of the questions now. It's like questions about if you could have a job that you didn't really like but had good pay and good hours, or a job that had bad hours and bad pay but you love, which would you prefer? I'm like, you're just asking which pain do I want?
Yeah.
And it's a million questions like that.
It's actually rather ridiculous. Like the amount of polls. I wish there were some way that the app could indicate, like, hey, this poll was posted 5 milliseconds ago by like 50 people. Maybe you should fucking post it.
That should be the wording. That's exactly what you say. Maybe that'd be awesome.
Because it's like, especially when like one major trend happens, I see 100 polls that have the same 10 words in it.
Yeah.
You might have like 1 or 2 words that are different, but it's the same basic element, and it's just,
And you know, each one of the people thinking, "Oh, this is going to be so clever. This is a great poll."
yeah.
Well, they go in streaks. I think that's maybe one of my favorite couple of things is suddenly one day somebody decides, you know what, I'm going to ask what everyone's Myers-Briggs personality type is. And then for the next day and a half, it's like, this is all.
Yeah, that was like the political compass phase.
Yep.
And I was like, I hate every single one of you. Every single one. Even if I liked you before, you're an objectively terrible person now.
I think it's starting to go around again. I've seen like 3 different polls and some people. I'm sorry.
Don't tell them.
I'll change my avatar just to spite you.
No, it's got to be like the right couple of people that do it too. Like there are a couple of users that when they post something like that, suddenly everyone does it. And then every once in a while, there's someone who will post it, and you're like, I can see that you're trying to bring it back, but it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should totally after this go. All of us do the direct poll, and just do the is it gold or is it blue, and then just everybody just do it, and then blow
That
it.
was so bad. Because then you had so many people that were just like gold or blue, and there was like no context. Like at least some people tried to make it relatable, and then some people were just like, I'm gonna put colors and fuck it.
Josh, I will say I enjoy your polls that kind of end all of those polls. That
my mashups.
Complete gibberish.
Yeah.
Poll and all sorts of things. Those are always fun to read.
Yes.
My
Yes, they are.
My favorite responses to those are the people who get mad about them. Like, were you born without a sense of humor? What happened?
I've actually contemplated doing them every once in a while, but I never. For some reason, I still value posting polls that are at least semi-okay.
Oh, I got over that a while ago.
Yeah.
When the dress thing was going around, I remember Julie and I definitely had different views on it, and I couldn't see it, so I opened up I opened up GIMP and did like the little what do you call it, like color droplet thing, and just had it, had it say, what's this color? And it's like, that color is blue. Awesome. Thank you. Zero context.
It had been awesome if that software would have gone, we can't really tell.
It's blue. It's gold. Blue, gold.
You ask Google one, you ask Bing the other, and they say different. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember looking at that dress once and seeing the opposite colors of what I'd normally looked at, and as I was watching it, it switched back to the color that I'm normally. It totally freaked me out. It is gold. Nope, it's still blue.
I didn't take the time to say, oh, it's one or the other. Like, I couldn't care enough to bring myself to look at it for enough time.
So we are a bunch of human supremacists who don't like similar polls.
Yeah. I would say I'm a pole supremacist.
Pole supremacist.
I think along the lines of what you were saying before, though, I think it wouldn't be a bad thing if at the end of every month or something like that, there was a main poll type thing that's like, here's a list of the topics or of the most common questions, most common 10 questions.
That would be awesome.
I've offered in the past to revive the blog because there was a period where it was used very, very frequently. And so you actually saw what the community was doing and what Show of Hands itself was doing. And it's just like, I don't know, apparently a lot of people aren't very big fans of it.
I think it's more coming back. Jason has been posting things on there from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
Though admittedly I only see them when it gets mentioned.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I don't regularly check the blog.
I forget that it exists, and then someone's like, hey, there's a blog post. Oh yeah, okay, cool.
Well, Josh,
And then you scroll down and you're like, oh, there's 3 different posts there that I've missed.
Yeah.
Josh got the big shout out this week on the blog post.
Yeah.
And hello.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually really surprised by that.
Let's do one more. One more if that's cool.
Yeah.
Facepalm asks if we think glasses are sexy.
Oh, that's... Sorry. You can pick who goes first.
You should go first, Kyle.
I think it's a ridiculous question because it's like you don't go to a glasses store to get off. You're not like, oh my God, look at all of the glasses.
So
No, but you could be attracted to a person more if they have glasses on, or less if they have glasses on.
I know, but I think it has more to do with the person than it does with the glasses specifically, because that's just me. I don't look at people and I'm like, oh my God, look at your glasses. You are totally hot. Oh, you took your glasses off. Get away from me. Oh my God. Like, if your criteria is that specific, I don't know if I should applaud you or shame you. Because
So I'm sure there are people like that.
There probably really are. There's a little bit of everything out there, I'm learning. Incredible.
sorry, that's all I have to say about it. Continue.
I can tell you, I like to see my wife in glasses. She doesn't normally wear them, but like we are now old people, and we are to the age that we need reading glasses from time to time, and it's a good look for her. I'm not saying I don't know if it reaches the sexy threshold, but I do like the librarian look, the glasses with the hair up. That's a good look. But
Yep.
Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, if Guyton would put glasses on with his hair up, there's no telling what would happen with this stuff. So. Was there a line somewhere that I crossed? Was that?
No, not yet. I think I will with
it. Blake, glasses, what do you think?
I'm going to have to go with Kyle on this one. It just depends on the person. It doesn't really matter. I think sometimes if you see someone with glasses and you're attracted to them and then they take them off, they look different, or vice versa. But other than that, definitely.
Yeah. I also have to say, like, some people do look extraordinarily good with glasses, but it's not, I think it's more of an accent thing than a, like, oh my God, they're so sexy. I think it's just more like an element that adds to an individual's look more than, like, a specific point of attraction. For me, at least. Sorry.
No, it makes sense.
Are you?
No, there's so with glasses, it's not so much as a glasses thing. There's a look thing when a woman relaxes for the day and she puts her glasses on and she's like what Rhonda was saying too, not necessarily a librarian look. It's just a look that they're chill, they're relaxed. And it's kind of sexy. So, and sometimes if women are contact wearers and then at the end of the day they put their glasses on, it's just it's kind of a cute change. So I like that, but I also see what I was saying is that, again, it's an accent thing, not necessarily all by itself. So, yep. All got to say about that.
Matt, are you a glasses person?
The glasses have to actually fit and look good because as much as they're an accent and there is a person inside there and the person is always more important than the frames and glasses, there is a point where the glasses make you go, ew, what did you do?
Yeah.
And so the glasses should suit the person's face, but I personally like my husband better in glasses than without.
And then Navy, we call those birth control glasses because when you're wearing them, you never get laid. So.
Yeah, I've seen some really, really bad glasses on people, and it's like, how did you walk out with that?
There you go.
Those are so bad they're good.
Right. It kind of came around the full loop, and now you're back to good again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. No, I think the glasses thing, I think what you all are saying is about it too, that there's more of an element of being comfortable in your own skin. I think that's the particularly attractive, the particularly sexy quality is someone who's comfortable in their own skin, who's not trying to change, who's not trying to portray something they're not, who's not trying, And I think once you're there, it doesn't matter if you're wearing glasses or no glasses or.
But I mean, if you're wearing glasses, are you really being comfortable in your own skin?
Well, yeah, I think if the glasses are there for you to be able to see, then you're probably more comfortable.
No, you're trying to change yourself so you can see.
I'm a bit of an eyeball supremacist.
You monster.
An eyeball supremacist. This whole conversation has been dominated by supremacists.
Oh man. I think we should call it.
Okay.
It's been really long.
I just have to say hi if my stalker is still watching. Somebody sent me a message halfway through, and they're like, "Oh, it's good to see you on." I was like, "Okay." No, I appreciate it.
So there's that.
All right. Any other shout-outs need to happen this evening?
Yeah.
On the app.
It's this morning.
That's right, this morning.
Yep.
Everyone who's watching, thanks for watching. Everyone who was on, thanks for being on. And we'll be back next week with maybe completely new people. Or a couple of completely new people. We'll see.
And hopefully some Vegemite.
And hopefully some Vegemite. It's good stuff. Just really, really thin. All right. Thank you again. See you next time.
Good night.